All right, we have very interesting new polling, which is as depressing as it is fascinating. The country mostly doesn't like the Trump agenda that they voted for. Now, of course, Republicans do generally like it, but if we wanted any more doubt about the supposed mandate that President elect Trump has, it is coming strongly from this new polling from the Washington Post. The Washington Post, just over the last few days, looked at a number of different issues and opinions from voters, both on a partisan basis, how do Democrats, independents, and Republicans compare, but also the country as a whole. Let's take a look at some of these big issues that relate directly to Donald Trump's agenda. Only 42% of the country supports using the military to do the mass deportations that Trump has promised. Only 40% of the country supports firing the FBI director, Christopher Wray, which Donald Trump effectively did by saying, I'm going to nominate somebody else. Only 38% of the country supports the Justice Department investigating Trump's political rivals, the actual weaponization of the Justice Department. Only 32% of the country supports issuing pardons for the January 6th rioters who have been convicted. Only 24% support using police using force to stop anti-Trump protests. And then even the number is so small, I can't even see. I think it's like 8%. Only about 8% of the country supports putting reporters in jail for writing stories that Donald Trump dislikes. What are we to glean from this? Well, what we are to glean from it is that the policy really doesn't matter. That's something we've said before. You go and you talk to voters. We've done it at rallies. Luke Beasley has done it. Adam Mockler has done it. Do you support this specific thing Trump says he wants to do? First reaction from half of them is to say, Trump never said he wants to do that. Okay, then we show them the post. We show them the video. Then they go, well, I don't know that he is really going to do it. Or, that's not why I'm voting for him. I'm voting for him because I just don't buy or accept or want or desire what Joe Biden and subsequently Kamala Harris were selling. But it is just a reminder that the election is not won and lost on policy. Now, I don't think that's a good thing. You know what, there's two things. There's what would be best and healthiest for the country, and there's how the hell do we win? And if we are going to prioritize what's best for the country in the abstract, of course it would be better for voters to decide based on here's what I want on taxes, here's what I want on tariffs, here's my policy on education, here's my policy on healthcare, which candidate matches up with that. If that were the way people voted, Trump never would have won in the first place in 2016, and he certainly wouldn't have won a month and a half ago. On the other hand, if we want to win, we have to realize that just going out there and giving the same speech 3 times a day about your $50,000 tax deduction on business startup expenses, all stuff I agree with, that's not going to win you an election. And it didn't. And it didn't. And so, if anything, this poll is a reminder that there are going to be millions of Trump voters who are going to be on the other end of I told you so. And we'll talk about that after the break. A bunch of these Trump voters are going to be hurt directly by the economic policy that's forthcoming. But if we want to do a sociocultural analysis, if we want to do an economic analysis, okay, that's valid. If we simply want to focus in on, wow, we got crushed, even if Trump didn't get a mandate because most voters voted for someone else, he still won, and they won the House and they won the Senate. If we want to prevent that from happening again, then the approach needs to be the polling reminds us it doesn't matter if people agree with policy if they are, I hate to use this term, if they're vibing with you in other ways. That's the path to victory. And hopefully it's something that the Democratic Party is going to come to understand. Everybody's got their version of the analysis of this sort. You know, the Pod Save America guys have one version. Okay. But on some level, there has to be a recognition that the atmosphere that's created around the candidate the community that's created around the candidate, the idea of the candidate matters way more than, obviously Trump's not going to build a wall that Mexico is going to pay for. Obviously Trump's not going to lower prices by putting tariffs on other countries, whether they understand it or not, whether they genuinely like it or not. At the end of the day, it did not matter. And if Democrats don't understand that, they are simply not going to win. Ever walk into a store and have absolutely no idea what wine to get? It happens to me every single time because I don't know anything about wine, which is why I love our sponsor, Naked Wines. Naked Wines is a subscription service that just connects you directly to the world's finest independent winemakers, so you can get award-winning wine delivered straight to your door. With my code PACMAN, you can get 6 bottles for just $39.99. My girlfriend likes white wine. I know I'm more of a red wine guy, even if I'm generally clueless. So we usually get the split box from Naked Wines, which has both. Naked Wines believes that great wine is an experience, and they're all about helping you connect with your friends, family, community over a shared bottle of wine. You get background information on each bottle. So when I have friends over, I can actually tell everybody where the wine came from and sort of sound like I know a little bit of something. And you can pause or cancel at any time. Head to nakedwines.com/Pacman and put in my code PACMAN for both the code and the password for 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. The link is in the description.